Hello everyone, welcome back to Chen Design Channel. Today we are going to work on this vase structure, the image from one of my YouTube subscribers. Are you ready? Let's get started. I got the message from Emil Han and providing this image right here. I usually like the student try first and send me the model, let me know where's the issue, and I think that's the best way to learn. But this is a kind of a very interesting form, so I would like to starting from the scratch for this demonstration. So to make this shape, we kind of need to understanding the structure first. Let's take a look on this picture one more time. In this picture, it looks like this is some sort of a vase form already, and you have some cutter to cut out those. The only thing is, you may spend some time on it, is how to arrange those cutter. It is 3 rows, and in between each of the row, the point of the cutter is aligned into the center of the 2 cutter. So if we can arrange some sort of a cutter go like this way, that should work. Something similar for this structure. Okay, so that's starting with whatever curve that work for you. I'm gonna starting from the base, so I will have snapping into the 0, coming out for whatever size I want here. Then I want to use the curve. Let's go to do something similar like this. Okay, now once we have this, we need to make it into the surface. So we are going to use this one, and then to use the command is revolve, snapping into the center for our revolve axis, and then we are going to revolve 360 degrees. So that's how we get this vase. Okay, you need to make sure that is the shape that you like before you continue to do the rest of the step. Next, let's use the create UV curve command, and we're gonna create a UV curve to know, like, we're gonna arrange everything flat, and then we'll flow it back to the surface. Okay, so first of all, I need to kind of design our first cutting tool. The cutting tool, it look like, let's take a look on this picture again. It look like there is a hexagon kind of a structure, but it's being squeezed down. So I'm going to use the command for polygon, and I'm going to draw a hexagon, like 6 number size of is equal 6. If yours is not, you can change it right here. Holding the shift, then I will have something like this, and I would like to squish it down a little bit, something more like this, maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, and then we are going to work with this one, but I don't like it like so pointed over there, so I'm gonna use the command. This is called fitted corners, and I'm gonna fit it this curve, and let's try 1.5, so it's a lot more smoother on the edges there. Okay, let's moving this one to the center, horizontal center. So I'm going to align both curve with the horizontal center and to anywhere there. So this one stay right in the middle. Okay, we are going to creating the surface as our cutting tool. I'm going to go to the perspective. Let's take a look over there. I'm gonna create an arc. This arc is going to snapping into midpoint and the midpoint, and I want this arc go downward. It's because we are going to use as a cutting tool to cut inside of the surface. All right, now we have this one, and we need to use those to making a surface. I'm going to use the command is sweep to, but we need to have 2 rails, so let's go ahead to split this curve into 2 by snapping into the quadrant. So I want to use the point there and point there as my cutting tool to turn this into 2 curve. Next, that's creating the surface by sweep to rail. So rail 1, rail 2. You need to go from the point, which is the endpoint or the quadrant there, and then go into this cross section, and again go into the point over there, and that's how we get this surface there. Okay, so now we have one surface. We need to have a bunch of them. So we're gonna take a look on the top view. All right, so the goal is filling up like entire row. Instead of copy and paste one by one, I'm going to use the linear array. So this one is going to be array, and how many of them I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing, so I'm gonna guessing 25 and see how that goes. All right, I think it's enough for us, so I'm gonna move it roughly like this and just delete whatever is not needed. Okay, so I have 25 over there, and I'm going to group them temporary, make a copy by just pulling up and hit the Alt key. So you have the copy there. Now I'm also going to just move it back to visually to look at it like where that is. If you are really particular about the distance, I will suggest you to measure and moving into exactly half of the distance. Let's use the mirror command, snapping into the midpoint, so that way we can get some sort of a pattern like this. Okay, now with this pattern, we need to take a look on how it flows back, and it will be matching, exactly where is where. So first of all, we need to have this one. I'm going to snapping exactly half of this. So I'm gonna move that curve from this point and align with this point. So make sure that your smart track is on. All right, so here's the intersection, right? So that one is done. Now let's take a look on this one. Look like we need 2 more to coming out there and cutting the shape in half. So I'm going to ungroup those. And to be accurate, I'm going to mirror those two and using this endpoint as my mirror axis and have something like this. All right, so now we have this need to be aligned with the point, just half of our color. So I'm going to pick up the point and pick up this point, and I'm going to use the move tool, move from this point and align with this point at the intersection. So that way it is exactly half of them, and we could trim it later. Okay, so now that's creating a surface by the surface from planar curve. Let's take a look on the perspective. So everything should line up perfectly. Okay, so we need to trim bunch of them at once, and you can use a trim tool to trim bunch of them. And I would like to use the bowling different tool, and this probably will only work for Rhino 6. Rhino 5, you will still need to trim one by one. So we're gonna select this surface, enter, and we're gonna select the rest of them and enter. All right, all of a sudden it's cutting everything there. Perfect. All right, so now we need to trim the 2 extra on, actually 4 extra on the side. We're gonna use the curve. On the top view, I'm going to trim this guy and this guy, you and you. Okay, so now we have a surface. It's ready to flow it back, and the surface look like this. Okay, so now we are looking at the perspective one more time. To flow back, we need to have a reference surface. So I'm going to use the same curve, and that's just use the surface from planar curve. All right, so now let's go to transform flow along surface. We're gonna pick up the poly surface first, click on one of the corner, and we're gonna click on opposite side for our target. All right, perfect. So now we have all on it. We no longer need the original surface, right? But we do need the interior. So let me just scale this down as our interior like this. And I may want to have this inside one going to moving up a little bit. And so I'm going to use the align tool to align to the top to the outside. All right, to close this one, we are going to use the same command we've been using today. We're gonna use the planar curve to creating this surface, using one more time to create this surface. So let's join them together. All right, so on the top, I do want to have a rim, like look really nice and round. So instead of just cap it, I would like to use the command. It's called blend surface, and we're gonna blend from this curve to this curve. You can adjust like how much you want on the blend to be like pointed at one side or smoother, higher or lower, and then you will get something like this. Don't forget to join all of them, then they will be a solid to print. Alright, so this is our vase today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell next to it so you will get the notification from me whenever I have a new video. Usually it's Monday for the Rhino. Leave the comment, let me know how I do, or if you have other questions, I would love to help you, and let's make this learning community better. Thank you, and I'll see you next.